That Don't Sound Right is a podcast about talking the way we did before the internet, when you could not prove anyone right or wrong.
All the expertise was contained in the people involved with the conversation. I'm Peter.
I'm Cecil, and I hope you enjoy our conversations. And as you listen, if you find yourself silently saying, "That don't sound right," send us a comment. You're one of us.
What is your dream guest on TDSR, dead or alive?
Oh, wow, that's a great question.
Welcome back to another episode of That Don't Sound Right, a podcast about talking. We're your co-hosts. I'm Peter Billman.
I'm Cecil Davis.
And we're just trying to have a conversation without Googling or fact-checking things online. Those things have a tendency to kill the conversation and stunt creativity.
And if you're in America listening to us, you're finishing up your Thanksgiving holiday probably. This is Saturday night. If you're listening to us overseas, it's just another weekend.
That's right. I always have to remember that we're the only one who does Thanksgiving, really.
That's right. Yeah.
But what's great about Thanksgiving is have the family at home. And in the Camel City studio today, we've got our special guests, our daughters. There's Emily.
Hello.
And Sophie.
Hi.
Ella.
Hey.
Camille.
Hello.
And Olivia sitting over here quietly in the corner. So we got a listener submitted topic this week. It's a timely topic.
It is a timely topic. One of the reasons it's timely is that I was actually paying attention to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
And I was watching it, but evidently I was not paying attention because I did not pick up on what you picked up on.
There were some things that were thrown around about the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, but do you remember what the questions were?
So Scott, listener number one, sends in a question about who makes all the balloons, and is there enough balloons that have to be made to support a balloon industry? I think was that. Do you have another question?
And has one ever gotten away?
Has one ever gotten away? How does one become a balloon handler? How much training goes into balloon? What happens if one halfway deflates, like the Diary of a Wimpy Kid balloon deflated during this year's?
Oh, has that happened this year?
I don't think his hand was deflated. I don't think that was part of the set piece.
No, probably wasn't part of the deal.
So let's get kicked off here.
Question though to our guests: any of the balloons stand out to you during the parade?
No.
Did y'all watch the parade?
Yes.
Just a little bit. I didn't see that much of it.
It wasn't a balloon. I liked the stinky cheese for Diary of a Wimpy. That was a balloon. It was on the ground.
But I have a
rolling, ardent. More wheels are
I have something to say to that. If you looked closely at it, one of his hands was deflated.
Right. So what happens? What happens when a balloon deflates mid parade?
Well, if it can fly, they keep going.
Right.
There's no reason to bring it down.
Yeah.
Because if you spent that much money on a balloon and the helium, you're going to keep it going as long as you can. Do you have any idea how much one of those balloons cost?
No. Do you?
I do have an idea.
How much?
Guess.
Oh, easily like
$1 million?
$2 million?
One balloon.
One balloon.
I would say
those things are $8,000.
I'm going to say like 400,000.
400,000?
50,000.
50,000? 200,000?
50,000.
200,000.
200,000. Guess how much it costs to fill up the helium in those balloons?
$7 million.
300,000.
300,000?
It's 50,000.
50,000? It's about $500,000. About $500,000 in helium it takes to...
For all of them?
No.
For one?
Yeah.
Who's paying
if you're
for that
sponsored, usually, what happens is all those balloons are sponsored by a company, and they're advertising. This is the AT&T M&M's character, and so they will pony up all that money to get that balloon going. So you're talking you're all in $750, maybe close to $1 million
for one balloon.
People always talk about how expensive Super Bowl commercials are, but no one's talking about how expensive it is to sponsor a balloon.
And Macy's has their own creative department that they build their own balloons.
Really?
Yeah, you can go to work for Macy's and their parade department, and you work for them to make these balloons.
And then they get sponsors for the balloons. And that's how. So if we can get somebody to give us $1 million,
We could have a That Don't Sound Right balloon.
we could have a That Don't Sound Right balloon. That would be crazy. What would our balloon be? Would it just be the logo? Like just the letters really big floating down the street?
That would be pretty lame.
It could be like balloons of you guys.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
Right.
I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah, so the way they make these balloons is they draw it out and they create a scale model out of clay. And then they scale it up and they create these big sheets of plastic.
Right.
And they glue it all together. And then they paint the plastic to make it look like the character.
Is it glued?
Yeah, it's just glued together. It's amazing.
Can you imagine as the balloon turns the corner and the announcers, whoever it was, Savannah and Hoda this year, see one of us floating down, and they're like, and here comes the...
Who are these guys?
Who is that?
Well, you and I would be help carrying it.
You'd be on the float behind it.
That's right, we'd be on the float.
I know, we'd have to do something, because usually they sing or something, whoever's on the float.
We could lip sync.
We could stop and do an episode.
And we'd lip sync it, though, like everyone else does.
That'd be hilarious. Or we could hire somebody to be on our float.
Everyone lip syncs it?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's lip synced.
No, Camille, don't believe that.
Yeah, but we could hire somebody to be on our float to sing for us.
We could. So I thought that was interesting about that.
That's a lot of money.
So the other interesting thing was, has anyone gotten these balloons gotten away? Has been a question.
Did they answer it?
They did, and so between 1929 and 1932, at the end of the parade, they didn't design the balloons to deflate them. They didn't. Aside from cutting them open, so they just let them go. They let the balloons go. Between 29 and 32, they let these balloons go. And then if you found the balloon and returned it, Macy's would give you a $50 gift certificate.
That's
To Macy's.
$50?
Now, in the 20s and 30s, that equates to about $900.
Oh.
So you'd get about a $900 gift certificate in today's money to return one of these $200,000 balloons.
I wonder how much it would weigh, though, just the fabric.
I don't know. I mean,
Can you imagine that felony?
well, that's the thing. I mean, I've seen videos when the balloon has deflated, and it takes pretty much the whole crew.
Right.
It takes the whole crew to carry that balloon out. So they stopped doing it because an airplane ran into one.
Really? Did it crash?
The airplane had to make an emergency landing. They were able to recover. They didn't crash. So the story goes. So this is the story.
That's why you need windshield wipers.
The story is that it was a student pilot and her instructor were flying a biplane. All right, and now the story makes it sound like she flew into the Tom the cat was the balloon. She flew into Tom the cat on purpose.
Really?
Because when you really think about it, can't you avoid a balloon? I mean, you're just kind of sitting there floating in space.
Right.
You got an airplane, just dodge it.
Yeah.
So the article indicated that she actually ran into it on purpose. She lost control of the plane. The instructor took control of the plane and landed it. But as a result, they decided not to release balloons into the wild anymore.
You would think that someone would have thought that was a bad idea to begin. Like somebody should have said that, guys. This doesn't sound right.
No, don't listen. That doesn't sound like a good idea.
That would be so they deflate them at the end now. I guess they design them.
They got a big zipper.
Oh, really?
They just unzip it, let all the helium out, and off they goes.
I would think that would be dangerous.
The helium?
All that helium just coming out, if you're like standing around it, it would displace the oxygen. I guess you just stay away from it.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it floats to the top so
They obviously
quick.
haven't had any problems.
Well, they had a plane almost
Well,
crash.
not that with unzipping them. They don't have problems with them.
The other issue they have with balloons is the wind.
Yes.
Blowing those suckers around.
Right.
And so there's been some incidents. So one of the incidents was Sonic the Hedgehog. So he got out of control, hit a light post, popped, pulled the light post down onto a bystander, injured the bystander.
Where are these things?
Well, I would think if those things would pop like that and like fall, I mean, you could get trapped under one of those things.
Well, it goes. I mean, I've seen a video. It goes slow. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen that fast. It doesn't happen that. The other one is the M&M's float. hit a light. And actually, it didn't hit the light. One of the guy wires or the ropes got wrapped around one of the light fixtures on the post and pulled it down, and it landed on somebody.
Oh, man.
And then the worst one was the Cat in the Hat. Cat in the Hat swung into a light post that had kind of arms on it that had multiple lights. It broke one of the arms off and sent 4 people to the hospital.
Oh, wow.
One woman was in a coma for a month.
Oh
Really?
my.
Yeah.
How is this parade still happening?
Yeah. Well, what they've done is they're very strict now on what the wind conditions can be, whether or not, and how high they put those balloons during the wind
They
conditions.
seem much lower to me now than they used to be.
They're lower, and they'll bring them down much lower if it's too windy.
I gotcha. Wow. You paid attention.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
But the part that don't sound right to me, I don't know if don't sound right to you, is that they used to let these things go at the end of the parade. Just let them float.
Wild.
Let them run wild.
Like, it's not even good to let a little balloon go
Yeah.
because it gets out in the ocean and all that kind of stuff. I can't imagine getting a big one going.
Especially the rubber ones, the latex balloons. But these are made out of plastic.
Snoopy or something.
I wonder if there's like balloons out there somewhere.
Yeah, I wonder how many haven't been recovered.
Right. If you could find one today.
Well,
Get a $50 gift card.
keep in mind these balloons are probably almost 100 years old now.
Yeah.
They're probably long gone.
Still.
Probably in the ocean and
The
a bunch of turtles.
but Macy makes all the balloons.
Yeah, it's their
So
department.
there's another department.
So basically, you know, they want you to be an artist. You know, you can be employed by Macy's to do these balloons, to draw them up, to decorate them, to build them. Yeah, it sounds really interesting.
Is it a seasonal job or does it take all year?
Well, I'm sure it takes all year.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I would think it would take all year, especially if you lost one and you have to create one. There's about 16 balloons, I think, this year.
I didn't.
were-
Yeah, you paid much closer attention
Yeah,
to this time.
I
The
don't
only
know
thing
why-
I spent the whole time trying to figure out Chicago. So evidently, I was.
Well, that didn't take you long. You went right for the Google.
Yeah, Chicago came out, and I'm like, those guys can't be the original members. And sure.
Well, there were so many of them too on the float.
Yeah, so and Chicago was a. I mean, they had lots of instruments in their band. It was kind of an unusual rock band at the time, but they were a big deal.
Yeah.
They were like the soundtrack to my junior high years.
So is Chicago the one band you would take to a desert island with you?
No, it'd be Short Walk to Pluto.
A short walk to Pluto. Yeah, we've already been through this.
That's what I thought. Yep. So hopefully we answered all of Scott's questions and my questions about the balloons.
I think we'll have some follow up to this.
I have questions about. I did learn because I had the question about how did they practice, and I did see like a behind the scenes thing where they actually, like the Rockettes, practice out on that main stage before the parade. So I'm guessing other people do too, like the people that are singing and dancing will go out there and practice before the parade.
I imagine the balloon handlers will practice also.
Yeah. There was and somebody said there's a lot of, I couldn't tell if they were being serious or not, but they said there's a lot of training that goes into the balloon handlers.
I think so. And there's a balloon captain.
Is there?
There's a balloon captain giving the hand signals on how to control the balloon.
Really? Mm-hmm. Because there's usually, 50 people on a balloon?
It seems like it.
Yeah. There's a lot of guy wires going up there. I like that parade. Do y'all like the parade? Do you feel like it's a tradition to watch that parade?
No.
What about the Winston-Salem Christmas parade? Did y'all grow up going to that?
No.
I started going to the Raleigh parade.
Okay, the Christmas
They had a
Christmas
big
parade,
balloon this year.
and they had one.
They had a singular.
Had one big balloon?
One-
Well,
Balloon.
well, now that you know the cost of them, you can see
And
why
then
there's
drawing
just
a blank
one.
on what it was. I can't
It
remember.
wasn't very effective then, I guess, in advertising.
I feel like it was an animal. Shout out to my Oak City crew. They can write in.
So you're in Raleigh now, but I grew up near Raleigh, and I never went there. So you're actually the first one of us to go. We go to the Cary Christmas parade. We didn't have balloons at the Cary Christmas parade.
Oh no, we don't have balloons at the Winston-Salem Christmas parade.
None?
No,
I've never.
you've never been to the.
I may have been like.
Emily,
once.
tell us about the Winston-Salem Christmas parade. How many times have you been to it?
Like all through elementary school.
In junior high.
In junior high.
No, just elementary. I think like once. Yeah, once I went into middle school, we didn't really go anymore.
Right.
Did you get upset at the parade?
No. We usually were in the parade.
Yeah.
What were you
There was
doing?
like a
What were you
club.
doing in the parade?
Well, so there was a club at my elementary school that was, it was called Willpower, and basically, you could ride the unicycle, you could do like walk on stilts, or you could do like a little pogo ball.
You did stilts, didn't you?
I did stilts. And then 5th grade, I rode the unicycle.
Really, the whole route?
Yeah, I had to hold on to my dad's arm though. I couldn't do it all the way by myself.
I think Olivia was in the parade one year for the Winston-Salem Children's Choir. No,
Is that right?
that.
I don't remember that.
I feel like you may have been in the parade one year.
Well, we spent a lot of years at the parade.
Yeah.
That's good. I think the parades are fun.
Yeah.
It was always very cold.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But we graduated from the parade. Now we don't go.
Yeah.
But I think we answered all the questions about balloons. I think, did you have an idea for some questions?
We have our own list of questions.
Oh, dear.
So our visitors to the podcast this week have a speed round for us. So there's no right or wrong answers, Peter. These are just questions. These are just questions that they're asking our opinion on. We're ready.
Okay, first question.
And the fun thing is they will answer their own questions too. That's what I appreciate about the speed round.
Oh, well, these don't really apply to us. What is your dream guest on TDSR, dead or alive?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. Dream guest on That Don't Sound Right. What's your dream guest?
Oh, I'd be Einstein.
Einstein?
Oh, yeah. I've got to figure out gravity. I've got to figure out the theory of relativity. I'd have him here on a heartbeat. Dead.
Dead.
Maybe, and then if I had to pick someone who's alive, Neil deGrasse Tyson, I'd bring him on and help me figure out, because we got to figure out gravity. We don't have gravity figured out, and to me that don't sound right. So anyway.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I think Sir Edmund Hillary. I think I would have him on.
That's very good.
Yeah, I think I'd like to have him on just to say, tell us what was going on, tell us about the trip up, just to hear it firsthand.
Yeah.
For our listeners at home, who is Sir?
He is the first guy to summit Mount Everest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Why did I know that?
I knew that one.
Yeah.
That was for people at home.
Yeah. All right. So, dream TSR guest. Oh, and remember, y'all, give us $1 million, and we'll see about putting a balloon in the Macy's Day Parade.
All right.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that all for
I thought
now?
you were going to say $1 million and we'll go back in time and bring some of these people back and interview them, but
Was that all for that question?
Yeah.
Did you want someone alive?
Do one of y'all want to answer?
Yeah.
You want to answer?
We don't really host this.
Oh, so somebody alive. Who would I, if I had to do somebody that was alive today? Jimmy Carter. I'd have Jimmy Carter on.
Cool.
Yeah.
Would you rather be in the Beelman or Davis family?
Ooh. Davis family.
Beelman family.
Right answer.
Safe answers. What is your favorite car part to fix?
A favorite to fix? Oh, I would say brakes. I really like fixing the brakes.
Fix this man's brakes.
Actually,
It's very satisfying. It generally doesn't cause me any problems, and it's great satisfaction to get something like that working correctly.
Oh, please fix his brakes. We were driving this car. His brakes are grabby. And when we say grabby, grabby.
Grabby.
they're aggressive, not grabby.
Okay, all right.
It's a driver's car. That's what it is. Actually, I would go with brakes too. It's a very satisfying job. So especially disc brakes for some reason.
Oh, disc brakes are a piece of cake, but drum brakes, man,
Drum brakes. Drum brakes. You feel like you have a talent when you can do those.
Right.
Yeah,
It's a little puzzle.
Yep.
We only have 5 questions, by the way, so you're on your second to last. What is a nickname you would give yourself, or one that you tried to make stick?
Oh. Huh.
Money 5.
What would I give myself? I always try to make Diesel stick, but it never sticks.
Diesel?
So my dad would call me Cecil Diesel.
Okay, all right.
and so as I got older, I would say that, but it never, people would call me C or Big Cease or Cease or different
Cease.
Big C. But Diesel never stuck.
Yeah, for me it would be the blade.
The Blade.
The blade. Yeah, I used to have a lot of knives. Well, I still have a lot of knives. And
Right.
some people would say, you have a lot of knives. I'm like, yes, because I'm the blade.
Do you want me to refer to you as the Blade from here?
Well,
on out?
probably not.
The Blade.
Okay.
That's good.
Your
I like
last
that.
question is, who do you think would last longer in a drive-thru?
Who would last longer? Are things going well, or have things gone
No,
askew?
they're out of stuff for you, and for you, they can't understand you.
So we'll have to address this this specific thing in next week's podcast. But
Right.
just to give everyone a preview, I think Cecil would last much longer than I would.
I think present day Cecil would last longer. The more mellow version of me that no one believes exists, I think would last longer.
Yeah, well, there's no argument. You will last longer. I don't have a chance. But stay tuned until next week's episode. We'll understand what we're talking about.
So, did y'all want to answer any of those questions for yourself?
Nope.
None of them?
Nope.
We'll have our own speed round next week.
You're right. That's right. You have.
This is a great lead-in that wasn't even planned.
I know if you tune in next week, they'll have a speed round with our questions coming up. Well, we hope you have had a great Thanksgiving. Listen to us on your way back home. This is a big travel weekend in America, and we've been voted the best podcast to listen to on your Thanksgiving ride back home by the staff here in the room. We all agree that we're the best.
Unanimous.
So it don't sound right, but you've come to the end of another That Don't Sound Right.
Hey, before we close, we want to thank everyone for listening. If this is your first time and enjoyed the conversation, would you consider hitting the subscribe button on the platform you listen with? Also, if you're a longtime listener, please give us a rating and leave us a review so others can easily find us and join the conversation.
I think we're going to try some advertising this week again. This is going to be linked to the Amazon products, but we'll see how that goes. That Don't Sound Right is a production of TDSR Podcast in conjunction with Camel City Studios. I am your co-host and sound engineer, Cecil. Peter is your other host and our web designer. Camille is our barista, and she's made some very tasty coffees today.
Indeed.
Emily does our graphic design, and she is in school to learn how to do that. We've seen a very nice cover that you did. Yeah. Ella does our Instagram. Giorgio does our merchandise. Brent is our international brand ambassador, and he is international.
Guatemala.
We are praying for you, Brent. And as always, listener number one is
Scott.
So until next week, keep talking.
And stay curious.